So Michael Saylor has just bought another 3,000 Bitcoin today, which has sent the price of Bitcoin pumping over $53,000 for the first time in a long time. So everybody's wondering, what is Michael Saylor going to do next? Has MicroStrategy had its Twitter account hacked? Well, we're going to be looking at all of that today. We're also going to briefly uncover Michael Saylor's secret 1924 playbook that might tell us what he's going to do next with his Bitcoin accumulation strategy. So to discuss all of this, I want to share my screen and I want to show you guys the news of today. So Michael Saylor took to Twitter once again and he has said, MicroStrategy has acquired an additional 3,000 Bitcoin for $155 million, okay? So now MicroStrategy hodls 193,000 Bitcoin, which Michael Saylor has acquired for $6 billion. And we are going to be taking a look at MicroStrategy's total Bitcoin stack and have a look at Michael Saylor's Bitcoin Tracker, so to say. So this is actually an application that tracks how much Bitcoin Michael Saylor owns. We're going to get there in a second, but I first want to have a look at a little bit of the heat that Michael Saylor has gotten over the years. So most people will remember the Wall Street Journal wrote this article about Michael Saylor, and it was titled, Michael Saylor Bet Billions on Bitcoin and Lost. And it was only earlier this year. Well, it was actually earlier in February, on February 16th, 2024. Michael Saylor came out and he said, still betting on Bitcoin. That was all he said. So this is really interesting because what we can see is that Michael Saylor's money is doing the speaking for him. He tagged the Wall Street Journal in this post. Funny enough, we got Preston in here dropping some memes. Funny enough, the Wall Street Journal did not reply to Michael Saylor, but I think this coming Bitcoin bull cycle, it will be absolutely undeniable what MicroStrategy's $10 billion Bitcoin stack is saying to the world. Okay, it's $10 billion now. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. I want to firstly cover what's going on with MicroStrategy's Twitter account. So it was apparently hacked earlier today. So if you guys are on Twitter and you get some strange messages, from something that looks official, that might look like MicroStrategy's Twitter account, just be careful out there. $440,000 was lost in 8 hours time as people supposedly handed over funds to the fake Twitter account. So again, big warning, not your keys, not your coins. If anybody online asks you to put your Bitcoin private keys into an internet connected device, it's a terrible idea. We never do that in the realm of Bitcoin, okay? But let's move on and take a look at Michael Saylor and how he is faring against these other Bitcoin ETFs. So we have Johnny in the chat. Greetings from the desert, Luke and Pam. G'day, Johnny. And shout out to producer Pam, who's in the chat, making this live stream possible as well. So I want to show you guys the Bitcoin ETF Tracker over here on Hey Apollo. So we can see in orange, this is Michael Saylor's stack. I believe it's been updated to include the additional 3,000 Bitcoin he bought today. But Michael Saylor's stack is now 190,000 Bitcoin. Okay, this is absolutely incredible. Okay, this is huge. He's doing great. He's built this stack over 4 years of stacking. But have a look in green here. We're always going to bring you up to date with what's going on in the realm of the Bitcoin ETFs. In green, we can see that the new 9 Bitcoin ETFs have accumulated 287,000 Bitcoin in only 31 days of trading. That is absolutely incredible to think about. And just to kind of recognize that how quickly are these Bitcoin ETFs buying all of this Bitcoin, okay? Michael Saylor has been the billionaire who's gone all in on Bitcoin for the past 4 years. He's sunk all of his company's profits into Bitcoin for the past 4 years, nearly every month. But the 9 new ETFs have already accumulated more Bitcoin than Michael Saylor. I think this is really big, being underplayed by a lot of people. Something else that's interesting with this Bitcoin ETF race is the longer it goes on, have a look at BlackRock and Fidelity here on this little video I'm sharing over on the Hey Apollo site. Again, massive shout out to Hey Apollo. They've got a really cool little ETF tracker section here, and it kind of shows the distance that BlackRock and Fidelity is pulling away from the pack. So it really is becoming a winner-take-all kind of game. Very interesting stuff. But I want to show you guys Bitcoin's, well, this is actually Michael Saylor's Bitcoin accumulation strategy. So this is the tracker that tracks how much Michael Saylor's treasury over at MicroStrategy is worth. And we can see it's worth $10 billion at the time of filming this live stream for you guys. And we can see it's up by 70%. So that's huge. It looks like it's $4 billion in profit. And Michael Saylor's Bitcoin accumulation strategy, I think, teaches us a really important lesson. Take a look at those green dots on this chart right here. So see how they're spaced out. So they're actually signifying when Michael Saylor has bought Bitcoin. And you can see he bought Bitcoin at $10,000. He bought it in the $60,000 range. He bought Bitcoin back here when it crashed to $15,000 and $20,000. And he's still buying today when Bitcoin's at $50,000, okay? I think this is a really important lesson of dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin, okay? Again, Bitcoin is very volatile. Okay, but Michael Saylor has said himself, you don't get the returns of being one of the world's greatest assets, one of the world's greatest performing assets in history without a little bit of the volatility. And I thought it was really cool that Michael Saylor also tweeted out this little video showing Bitcoin being at all-time highs in all of these different currencies. We talked about that earlier in the week, and it's crazy. This nearly got 1 million views on Twitter. Very, very cool. But I want to talk a little bit more about the risks, proof of work versus proof of stake, because some people, especially those in the crypto realm, kind of see Michael Saylor holding all of this Bitcoin as a negative thing. So they're saying, oh, but Michael Saylor holds 1% of the total supply. Isn't this a risk to Bitcoin? Isn't this potentially a bad thing for Bitcoin? Well, let's discuss this. I personally don't think it is a bad thing that Michael Saylor holds nearly 210,000 Bitcoin and nearly 1% of the supply, because Bitcoin is not a proof of stake monetary network. Bitcoin is a proof of work monetary network. It doesn't matter how many coins or how much stake you have in the Bitcoin network. It's not actually going to change the amount of influence that you do have on the network, okay? It doesn't matter how much money you have in Bitcoin, you can't change the rules. That is essentially what we found out in the 2017 Bitcoin hard fork wars, when the big blockers were trying to change the Bitcoin rules in a way that would have actually hurt the Bitcoin network from a decentralization standpoint, okay? Doesn't matter how much Bitcoin Michael Saylor has, he cannot change the network because it is a proof of work-based network, okay? Now, many people are speculating, what's Michael Saylor's next move? Is he going to increase his strategy over his accumulation strategy over at MicroStrategy into the future? Okay, some people have kind of speculated that, hey, now that these ETFs have converted into, now that we have US spot ETFs, Michael Saylor might not actually feel the need to accumulate more Bitcoin. Well, this is an interesting topic. And when you understand the 1924 secret playbook that Michael Saylor is actually using, you will know exactly what Michael's plans are into the future. So we actually recorded a video recently comparing Michael Saylor's speculative attack today in 2024 to the speculative attack that was performed by a gentleman called Hugo Steins way back in 1924, exactly 100 years ago today. He's actually known as the inflation king of Germany, and he was one of the first people to execute a speculative attack. So if you want to learn how Michael Saylor is copying the same playbook from Hugo Steins, again, we recorded a video for that one earlier in the week. I'm going to pop a link to that one up on screen somewhere around there. With all that said, hope you guys enjoyed this live stream, and we will see you all in the next one.